All right, we're good to go. So nobody needs to remind me. Use the chat if you have any questions. The more engaging you are, the more questions you have, the better it is for me. The better it is to know that somebody's there, because right now I just hear my voice in this headset. So your feedback, your questions lets me know, one, whether or not I am overcomplicating things, making things too complex. That's not my goal. And two, just that it's valuable to you. I mean, the goal of this thing is to make obviously content that works for you guys. So by way of a couple of announcements, just to kind of catch you guys up on where we're at, in the last week and a half, I don't know if some of you have noticed, if you've reached out to some of the support team, we're doing our very best to answer your question in as timely a fashion as possible. However, we are nose to the grindstone on getting our automation out in time. And in time means before the month of June, which is closely approaching. So I don't have a definitive date for you. However, I will tell you, we are looking good. So that's exciting. Obviously, it's extremely exciting. So I can't tell you how exciting that is, other than I know a lot of you that have been around for a while have been, I mean, Dr. Ferrante, I can see you're there. I know you've, and Patricia, I know you're there. You guys have heard us talking about this. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Okay. Let's just make sure the chat is working before we get started. If you would not mind jumping into the chat function, I want to make sure you know where it is and saying hi, hello, anything along that nature. Just want to make sure that we're all good here. If you guys have questions, thank you, Tim, that you know how to ask them. So as soon as we get kind of a couple of folks chiming in, other than Tim, then we will get started. All right. Tim found the chat. Anybody else finding the chat down there? If you don't know where it is, it's at the bottom. It's at the bar at the bottom of this screen. So if you scroll down to the bottom, it should pop up. Okay, there's a couple more. Very good. All right, let's get started. So today is actually going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen 2. Share. All right. Now I'm also going to try and do it. I'm going to try and do it to where I actually do this. Perfect. That way you guys don't, we don't reveal everything at once. All right. So today, and by the way, this is when I put together these trainings, I spend the time to make sure the concepts, and mostly I spend the time simplifying the concepts. Okay, so some of the tactical things that we've talked about previously, like watch me do videos, which I believe we did 2 weeks ago. If you didn't see that, then some of this, you might have some questions and we can refer you to those things. But marketing strategy perfection. Now, the big word there that I want to just kind of outline in this entire training, what I'm trying to get at is to let you in on the strategy that you need to really dominate your marketplace. Okay, so how to become the dominant practice in your market. All right, so that's what the goal is today. If I do this right, then I'm going to give you A, the tools, B, the mindset. When I say mindset, there's nothing more frustrating than going out and doing a whole bunch of work or putting in all this effort only to learn, oh, I shouldn't have done that to begin with. That's frustrating. So this is designed to give you, the straight and narrow path. So let's jump into this thing. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. So now, when you think of marketing in your practice, okay, I want you to think of the types of efforts that you have done. So some of you have done Facebook advertising, Google advertising. Some of you have done, lunch workshops or fairs, all of those different things. I want you to think of all of the different types of marketing efforts that you've ever done. And I want you to start thinking, what was the objective? What was the goal of that marketing? Because when it comes down to it, there are 2 types of marketing, okay? One, direct response marketing, And two, brand response marketing. Now, direct response marketing, if you Google that, you will find information about direct response marketing. Brand response marketing, you will not, because it's a term that I coined. I don't own the trademark, even though I should. But brand response marketing is a strategy. It's something completely different. So what is direct response marketing? Okay, so direct response marketing, as defined by Sam, is this: any marketing strategy with the primary objective to generate response in the form of a lead. Okay, this style of marketing is often used to target. We use offers, we use curiosity, a lot of curiosity, urgency, and we want to create opportunity at scale. Meaning, we want to put in a bunch of money and have a lot of patients come out of the back end. Okay. Brand response marketing, on the other hand, is a marketing strategy with a primary objective to build awareness and educate a targeted audience. This style of marketing often uses demonstration and education to inform an audience and build category credibility. Okay, so these are two completely distinct things. Now, I want you to think back on all those things that you've done. Which category have you spent the most time in? And I actually kind of want to get a chat going here. Can you put in the chat, as far as marketing efforts, where have you spent more time? Direct response or brand response? Let me see those answers real quick. Give me an idea, and I'm hoping. Yeah, okay, hold on. I got to get this chat window up down on this other screen. Okay, sorry. Okay, so direct response. I wish the other, though, we were focusing more. Okay, so by the way, if you answered direct response, you are just like everybody else. You're not abnormal. That is what most people do. So let's kind of move on and understand, what do I mean? What do I actually, I mean, I want to put a visual in your head of what a direct response campaign looks like and what a brand response campaign looks like. So I don't think there's a lot of confusion around what a direct response campaign is. Here we have our, on the left, you have our two versions, well, two of our versions of our 2 decompression treatments free campaign. So that's what the campaigns look like. You guys have seen, if you run our decompression campaign yet, or if you've looked at those ads, you've seen this style of marketing. In fact, the first, 4 weeks, we were going over our direct response campaigns, which, by the way, those are amazing campaigns. And I'm not saying anything negative, but I just want you to understand that there are other options. So direct response marketing, that's what we're seeing on the left. Now, brand response marketing, on the other hand, is what we're seeing on the right. Now, 2 weeks ago, we talked about watch me do videos, okay? And so what I did was I just pulled a couple of screenshots to demonstrate exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So in the top video, this is actually a client of mine, Dr. Stansberry, excuse me, and he's been a client of mine for, 2.5 years, okay? And Dr. Stansberry in this video is demonstrating what's actually happening to the disc by displaying, you guys have all seen, you guys all have these in your office, the degenerative disc, models or whatever. And so he's kind of explaining what happens to the vertebrae when your spine is being decompressed. And in the video below, they're actually demonstrating what happens with their decompression table. So this is the way that we educate people. The world that we live in today, it's almost like you're in one of the two mindsets. You're interested, maybe a lot of people will watch these videos that don't even have back pain. They'll watch these videos just to learn. We're in the documentary age. A lot of people are interested in documentaries and information. So brand response marketing, or in this case, watch me do videos, are amazing for that. So below, you'll see prospecting, generating leads, attracting, and building interest. Now, I want to make this even more simple. All right. We're talking about marketing strategies, different things. So let's simplify these two different types of marketing. So I want you to think of your market as a lawn of grass. Okay. That's not what my yard looks like. But my yard isn't looking too bad right now. I'm not going to lie. You know, it's got the whole COVID thing. We got fertilizer on there. It's looking pretty good, but not quite this good. So let's simplify this. I want you to think of your market in two different ways. First, to make it really nice and groomed, to have a really healthy market, the first thing is we need brand response marketing. Now you can think of that as the water, the fertilizer, the nurturing part of your marketing. Okay. If you have this kind of content going out, you're seeding the market with good quality content. That way, when people who do have this problem, when they're either referred to you or when they find your material or whatever the case may be, they're going to see this content and your credibility will go up because you educated them. Okay. If you can teach them something new, you no longer have to sell. Let me say that one more time. If you can teach them something new, you do not have to sell. It's very important. All right. And then we have the direct response marketing. And so that is, hey, even though we have this utopian idea of putting our idea and our brands out there, the reality is without some type of work or without some type of working feature inside of our business, you know, we can hope all day long that people are just going to find us and come in, but that's not generally what happens. So we need to be proactive and we need to put direct response efforts out there to find those people who are ready. There was and I think I probably mentioned him before, but Chet Holmes is probably one of my favorite marketers ever. And the reason is because before him, you know, you had the David Ogilvy's of the world, or there's so many. You had these really impressive copywriters, these people that knew how to write stuff, okay, and they were very good at that. But as we kind of evolved, you had to start mixing and bringing things together. And for me, Chet Holmes was that guy. He was the first guy that took copywriting, so advertising, and he brought in other strategies like funnels, like education-based marketing. I mean, I got a lot of this stuff from him. So you need to have the response part of your advertising. And what Chet Holmes said was that at any given moment in your market, there's 4% of the market that is actively seeking services that you offer. Assuming you're in the general broad market, so back pain and neck pain, that would be, you know, or knee pain or chronic pain would be in that category. So at any given point in time, you have 4% of the market actively looking. You have another 9% who aren't necessarily looking or actively looking for services like yours right now, but will be in the foreseeable, 60, 90-day future. And so there's two different types of ways to speak to people that are ready right now, and then people who have the pinging of interest and that you can kind of, you can start the conversation with by putting the right content in front of them. Okay. So really that's what we're doing here. We want to have a good overlap, a good hedging, a good balance of our marketing. So we're both nurturing and building credibility in the audience, and we're harvesting as well. So let's take maybe a simplified look at this marketing strategy as it exists and what you can expect to get from it if you execute it the way we're going to show you. So on the left, you have DR, direct response. On the right, BR. So the top two comments here are good things, and then the bottom might be perceived as a con, okay? So the good thing about direct response is you get a good amount of lead volume. Those campaigns, and especially if you're using our campaigns that are proven, those are gonna go out and get, sub $30, $20 leads for your practice. So that's great. New opportunities. Your business thrives on, the amount of new patients you get, the value of those patients, and how long they stay, right? So the influx of new people or new opportunities is the lifeblood of that business. And if you don't have that dialed in, then man, you are going to be in business for not a very long time. Okay, so new opportunities. The negative side to that is many times when people are abruptly introduced to your business through direct response, it's on such a short sales cycle that sale is considered cold. Or in other words, they don't have the context of anybody referring them. They don't know you. You don't get implied credibility through most advertising. And so you have to build that through your sales process. Okay, so that is a challenge. On the right side, brand response. Brand response, I mean, if you're educating people on things, like I said, you're going to build credibility. You're not going to be selling. So credibility is a huge benefit of doing that style of content creation and or marketing. That audience is going to be informed and educated. Dan Kennedy also passed away this last year or the year before. Amazing marketer. In fact, he back in the early 90s, he was big into the chiropractic and the chronic pain marketing space. And he said that an educated patient is a closed patient, right? So there can be you can't apply any level of discount to an educated patient. It's difficult. It's like, hey, we're going to get them in and we want to educate them, but the way people educate is just so bad. It's so bad. Okay. So we need to improve that function in our business. Okay. The downside of this is, by and large, it is not, brand response marketing is not designed to create response. So you do get a low level of response. And most of the time is because the call to action isn't very strong. And by the way, if you have a strong call to action at the end of a brand response piece of content, like a video, you can almost lose the positioning and or the credibility of that piece you put, because then it's like, wait a minute, did he or she just create this so I would buy from them? Okay, so you have to be very nuanced in the way that you do a call to action at the end, which again creates low response from those videos. Now, when you combine the two, what you end up with are prospects or new patients that a lot of times will fall under this thing. So educated, they'll be qualified, they'll be pre-sold. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, well, I want that. That sounds good. Yeah, it does sound good. But it's not, these things aren't black and white. This is not, I'm flipping on a light switch and this is going to happen. Here's the reality. When you combine both of these objectives together, okay, this is the key to owning the mind of your audience and attracting a consistent flow of qualified and eager patients. All right, that's kind of the bottom line. Now, I do want to show you tactically what this might look like. Now, again, this is no indication of how you would have to do this, but this is how you might think of doing this. So the first lines that we have are the direct response marketing. So you notice we have those running all the time. Now, I don't think you necessarily have to have direct response running all of the time, but by and large, if you have, a campaign that's performing, you want to keep it performing. If it stops performing, because maybe the audience has seen, maybe your audience has just seen it too much or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of reasons why that could happen. Maybe it's time to switch it over to something else, or even to give your market a little bit of a break from the direct response side. Okay, so this is what it would look like for your direct response stuff. Then your brand response would be more of a staggered approach. You still want to, consistency is a big thing, right? Especially if you're talking SEO, which I don't want to get too far into SEO because that really is its own school of thought, and everybody has their thoughts on that. But if we start thinking about what is best for content creation, consistency is what's best. And by the way, if you think, hey, I already created a video for spinal decompression, I can't do another one. Well, you are wrong. Okay, you can create as many videos just like that as you want. The story changes every time the subject changes, meaning the person in the video that you're demonstrating on or the inanimate object that you're demonstrating with, it changes every time you make that video. Does this make sense? Is any of this making sense? I don't want to move too far. Watch me do videos are all about being able to create. Yes, Juanita says yes. Watch me do videos are all about being able to have a simple process to make content regularly that's easy and gives you the flexibility and the ability to do it consistently. All right. And by the way, brand response, we're assuming that the types of campaigns you would run would be what we call an engagement campaign. Okay. I'm going to take a quick little tactical deviation from what we're talking about. One of the goals that we're going to have with Patient Stream is to set up an automated Facebook automation engagement campaign. Hold on. Let me just an engagement automated campaign, which means basically there's an objective inside of Facebook that's called post engagement. And post engagement is to get people to engage with your posts. So like them, watch them, share them, just consume them. We want them to engage. Engagement is our tool when it comes to brand response marketing. So what we want to do is be able to set your guys' account up. So when you post any video or any content, that it automatically gets pushed into this auto engagement campaign. So you don't have to think about any of the running ad stuff. You just think, hey, our job is to create consistent content, whether that's twice a month, whether that's once a month, whether that's once a week. Okay. Our job is to do that. And then you'll upload it to your page and you won't have to do anything else because it will go into an auto engagement campaign and be blended in with all the other stuff. Okay. So what do you guys think? I mean, is this making sense? Juanita said yes. Is this making sense to you? Is this something that you have seen before? Do you have questions? I have a conclusion that I want to get to, but I don't want to move on until I get some level of feedback. Is this new to you? Are you liking this? Tell me, what do you guys think? Give me some feedback there in the chat. My issue is providing content. All right, so you guys keep putting in your comments here. I'm going to talk to Dr. Ferrante right now. So Dr. Charles, 2 weeks ago, we did a training on Watch Me Do videos. And I have the training, which I can get and I can post here in just a second. Remind me to do that before we end today. But the training was all about Watch Me Do videos. And effectively, a Watch Me Do video is a video that you do where you demonstrate something. All right. So if you are doing something with neuropathy, what is an active therapy, or what is something, some type of protocol that you can demonstrate to somebody? Are you doing laser? Are you doing red light therapy? Are you doing shockwave therapy? Are you doing PMF therapy? What are you doing that you can demonstrate and you can actually show to people? I gave an example on my Watch Me Do video of how I actually came up with the style. And that was one day I was scrolling through my Facebook. This is not a lie. I'm scrolling through my Facebook, just like, unfortunately, a lot of us do. And I'm going through, and then all of a sudden, there's this person, this guy, sharpening knives. And he's sharpening knives on his feed, and I just started watching it. And I started watching it, watching it. About a minute or a minute and a half after I had been watching this guy sharpening knives, I thought to myself, why am I watching this video? And I had to deconstruct it. And it was because the power of demonstration holds in it curiosity and education. And that is something that I think our DNA just thrives on. So I don't have any science to back that up. That's my own personal thoughts. But I think anytime you can show and demonstrate, you're going to really engage and capture the mind of your audience. Okay, so let's see here. This is where we are heading. Creating Thank you, Juanita. Creating an educated tribe, which refers also a brand that's creating confidence where people are drawn in over time due to credibility and availability. Content being put out frequently. We are working on this. This system sounds great.
I know that you've been having a hard week, so I bought you a donut.
I haven't been having a hard week, but thanks, buddy. Oh, Bodie just came in and gave me a donut, and he said, I've been having a hard week. I've actually been having a really good week. Maybe I've just been failing as a dad. I don't know. Makes you think. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, I want to kind of bring all of this strategy. I want to encompass why it will work for you. Okay. And I want you to understand that. I want you to understand it this way. The number one reason marketing in any practice fails is because of this distinction. Do you treat your marketing and the way you approach new patients, do you treat it like a vending machine, or do you treat it like a flywheel approach? The vending machine approach is I put $1 in and I get the thing I want out. A lot of people look at their direct response and their lead campaigns like this. And the problem is, the detriment to this is, the second that you put $1 in and you don't get the thing you want out, you think the vending machine must be broken. And so you start kicking it. You tip it over. You say, this dang thing doesn't work. You fire the agency. You fire the marketing director. You take the black and white solution that you can justify in your mind. You do that thing because that's the only level of control you can have. And that is the vending machine approach, or a flywheel approach. What is the flywheel approach? Well, the flywheel is this huge wheel. All right. And when you come and you want to turn that flywheel, you have to put a little bit of effort. And then you have to do it again and again. But if you leave, that flywheel is not going to turn. So every time you put any level of effort and you stop, guess what happens to the flywheel? It stops. The key to having the momentum, which flywheel creates momentum, the key to having any level of momentum in your business, in your marketing, in your employees, in your sales cycle, in all of this stuff is the flywheel approach, which is once you start creating, once you start advertising, you never stop. You keep pushing that wheel consistently. And pretty soon it'll do a full turn. And once it's done that full turn, you'll keep pushing, and it'll do more and more and more and more and more, to the point to where once a flywheel, the reason a flywheel is even on this train, or a flywheel is used in gears, is because once the flywheel is turning, everything else becomes effortless. Imagine riding your bike, you know, that big wheel on your bike, or the big gear on your bike. You started out, you're like, oh man, this is hard. That's why there's gears. We start smaller, we keep pedaling, we keep moving. I will tell you right now, if you build a flywheel in your practice, if you always are marketing, if you always are creating content, all of the other things that seem so significant, like meaning, oh, hey, I need to be on Twitter, or hey, I need to do YouTube as well, all right? Like all of these things that come in as distractions are not going to be as important, okay? Because the reality is you only need one platform. I'm not saying you shouldn't have multiple, but I'm saying one platform focused on and consistently fed will build you a flywheel. Okay? All right, guys, that is all I have as far as the presentation is concerned. Hopefully, it is my hope that you guys will understand kind of where I'm coming from with this. I want you to be positioned. I want you to have the mental mindset to be able to win in any situation possible. You can roll into a brand new practice, assess where it is as far as the new patient efforts, and you can say, I know what we need to do to keep this thing going and to build it over time. It's all about the flywheel approach. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to any questions. By the way, I can bring you on if you have this. We are actually 32 minutes into this, so I have plenty of time to bring you on. If you want to raise your hand, if you want to type a question in, I would be happy to do a Q&A now, but hopefully this has been helpful. Let me just move this up. Let's see here. Dr. Matthew Thomas and Max Thomas. How about that? Tim, Dr. Charles, Juanita, do you guys have any questions? Would you like me to bring you on so you can ask those? So you're saying content, especially video, will be intensified with your new Facebook marketing program. Good question. So right now, if you were to go out and you were to post a video to your Facebook page, the level of reach, which meaning as many people as that would actually see it, would be somewhere in the realm of 1 to 3% of the people who follow your page. Okay, so if you have 100 people that follow your page, it's like 1 to 3 people. Okay, it's not very many. So Facebook is a paid platform. No matter what anybody tells you, Facebook is a paid platform. And so what we'll be doing, and it won't be part of the actual click campaigns, which is what we're rolling out, but we will be able to build in an automation that will throw it into an engagement campaign. Now we're gonna have to set that up one-on-one. So there will be like a setup fee for that. But once you pay that setup fee, then anytime you post, what'll happen is it'll put a certain amount of money behind that video so thousands of people can see it, right? And it's in the thousands of people seeing your content over time that will help you build the branding, the recognition, as Juanita was talking about. Good question. Yeah, it is like a boosted post, but the problem with a boosted post is it's not really targeted very well. But if you want to think of it like a boosted post, it would be almost like a functional boosted post. Okay, it goes in an engagement campaign. All right, so right there we're already starting to target an actual type of person where a boosted post does not. And then you can actually do some targeting things that are a little bit more high level. And plus, if there's any level of like, if the thing performs, then we can always do other things after that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a boosted post, but it's got a little bit more smarts behind it, if you will. Good question. Any other questions? And what do you think? This is a powdered donut. Oh. Gross. I don't think I'm going to eat this because I've been doing a pretty good job since Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? Father's Day was good to me. Hopefully it was good to you guys. I did my own neuropathy webinar PowerPoint. Can I do videos on excerpts as content and offer them full webinar? You know what, Charles? That's a genius idea. Yes, absolutely. In fact, if you go to fiverr.com, let's actually go there for just a minute. Let me show you guys a couple of cool resources. All right. Fiverr.com. They called it Fiverr because it used to only cost $5. Not anymore. All right. So Fiverr, let's see. Okay. We go to, let's see, let's go to content editing. Let's see what happens when we type that in. Okay, so this is, I will be professional video editor and content creator with fast delivery, 24 hours, 30 bucks. Proofreading, so if you want to turn, if you want to turn any of these videos into a blog, which is a great idea. I will be a professional video editor and content creator. I will be a YouTube creator, content and video editing studio. So these, I mean, starting at 20 bucks. So these are all services you can go through here and you can find people that will take your content and repurpose it into small, like 5-minute videos. And they'll put like cool transitions and music. And I mean, this is cheap, you know? So if you spent, you know, some of the money that you'll be saving from doing patient stream, and you just hired, you know, somebody here, and this guy's 10 bucks. I will design or redesign. No, we don't want Wix websites. Don't have a Wix website, you guys. There's a lot of people on here. There's thousands of people on here that are just ready to help you guys out. So you could absolutely take that video, that webinar video, and you could say, hey, I really like when I talk about this. And you could pick 10 chunks out of it. You could say, hey, I want you to create content videos from you know, 3 different or 10 different segments, whatever it is. You'd be good to go. That'd be really great, especially if you're doing that on neuropathy and you're running a neuropathy direct response campaign at the same time. Money for the honeys. Any other questions? Bring your questions, you guys. We got Juanita and Charles bringing it, so I appreciate that. Let me know if you've got anything else. I got 20 more minutes. We don't have to go that long, but I do have 20 more minutes, and I'd be happy to answer questions. All right. I did my own. Okay. I was wondering about blueprint body site content on neuropathy and repurpose that. Okay, so body site. Now, I know enough about body site to be dangerous, but I believe that body site is it based on blood work? You know what? Here, I'm going to allow you to talk, Dr. Ferrante. You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, Dr. Charles, how you doing?
Good.
All right, so let's kind of work through this.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay, there?
Yes. All right, so now we don't got the echo going. Okay, so let's talk about body site. So before we talk, yeah, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, so before we talk about the body site idea in and of itself, all right? Watch me do videos are all about demonstrating. Now, that doesn't mean you have to demonstrate a therapy. You can demonstrate a technology. You can demonstrate some type of tool, okay? It's all about framing the demonstration around a problem. So in this case, the problem is neuropathy, okay? And what it is exactly that body site does?
Body site is a email program that's sent to patients once they sign up. And it's, for example, recipes, information on the therapies. So they get a new email every day for 90 days.
Okay. Now, doesn't it have some type of diagnostic component? Like when you first start body site, how does that work out?
No, there's no diagnostic part, part of that. It's strictly information to enhance, to add more value to your program. And so basically there are 4 parts to the neuropathy program. There's a rebuilder, the low-level light therapy, the nutritional supplements, and the patient education. Basically, it's a paleo diet, and we're teaching them lifestyle changes over a period of 90 days, and we do a re-exam. But there's a lot of content there, and I don't know. I have to find out if we're allowed to do that. I think the biggest problem I'm finding, Dana's always asking me that I need content, I need content, I need content. I don't. Every time I do it, she says, "No, that's not good enough. Or you already did that. Do something different." I go,
No, don't do anything different.
"Oh,
Here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. Were you on the training I did where I talked about Hackbart Chiropractic?
I don't remember."
So they were the guys.
90% of the training. But.
Yeah, I know you have been. So they were the folks over. I believe they're in a small town, Nebraska, and they got millions of views by doing just watch me do videos. And by the way, it's like they're doing the same thing, but you know what changes? If you have a different person or a subject in the video, and even though you're demonstrating the same thing, it changes, right?
Oh.
So all you need is that one component to change, and you can do the exact same video. All right. In fact, there's a lot of credibility there, because then it's like, oh, he hasn't only helped one person with neuropathy, he's helped a lot of people with neuropathy. Right. So, I think I said it before. Clayton Makepeace said, tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So the Watch Me Do videos are largely framed around that, where you get a person in there, you say, hey, Sam is here today. He has been, he's been coming here for a while and undergoing, red light therapy or whatever it is. And we're going to show you how that works. And we're going to kind of talk to him about his experience here. And all of a sudden you got a video. And then Mary walks in, and guess what? Mary is here for the exact same thing, but she's on week 2 instead of week 4. So Mary's here today. Those are 2 different videos. Those are 2 different people. It does not matter that it's the exact same content to you in your eyes, because there is nuance to it. And nuance is where the potential lies, right? Because you might have one video that stinks. And when I say stinks, the one video that nobody watches and one video that everybody watches. All right. So the difference is just in the consistency. And by the way, all of these algorithms, whether they're paid or whether they're organic, meaning SEO, right? They're going to favor the page or the channel that is providing regular content. If you're like sporadic, they're not going to recognize you as much. Okay. Imagine you turned on ABC and it was a black screen. I'm like, well, there's really nothing here. The reason ABC and these people are all channels because they have content coming all the time. So just consistency in your content, right? So it's not about not doing the same thing. It's about doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and just doing it with different people.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome. Any other questions? Dr. Charles, any other questions from you, buddy?
Yeah, I've had something on my mind for a long time about Google Ads. I don't know if you're going to cover any of that. I understand the idea of what you presented today about we've only done Facebook. We haven't done any other marketing in the last 18 months, and it's served us well. We just launched the webinar this week. We wanted to wait for New Jersey to open, and we're getting a lot of leads from the marketing guy I'm using, and I'm following all those leads. We have good system of seeing if they watch a webinar, didn't watch a webinar, dropped off. We send them a rebroadcast. And I've called a couple of people already. Like you said to us, you should really call them. And that is working. I'm getting, good, getting, people to talk about it. Since my staff is in there, we hired a company to answer the phones from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. We have everything set. We have call to action at the end of it. Good. So we're excited about it. Doing that. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think this, for me, proof in the process is if this works, obviously I want to promote it in other places. What would be your suggestion as far as Google Ads, or even SEO. I was thinking for many years, I thought about hiring a virtual assistant from the Philippines
Yeah.
to do the SEO and stuff. What do you think?
I think SEO, if I were to do anything else that wasn't in the realm that I'm doing, it would be SEO. And the reason is SEO is actually, SEO dwarfs, as far as traffic is considered, SEO dwarfs what social media does. Nobody thinks about that. But the amount of traffic that comes from SEO is gargantuan. And the good news is, on a local level, most small businesses really stink at it. And the reality is what is SEO? SEO is when people put in a query or a question, they find the answer. Which means if you have the best answer, they're going to start finding you more and more. And if you start having, as far as in a category, you have most of the answers, then you're going to start getting a lot more of the traffic. You're going to start trending. And before you know it, all of these things will work together. So SEO to me is part of the flywheel, right? Taking the watch me do videos. So think about this. You take a watch me do video like we just showed you in the presentation. One, you take that video, you put it onto Facebook, it goes into a paid campaign. That's great. Two, you take the exact same video, you upload it to your blog, and you have a content writer write 400 words or so about it, just basically what it's about, some of the highlights. And when I say keywords, like things that people search, somebody that knows how to do that. And you can find somebody in the Philippines to do that very easily. And you're doing one of the, and so you're doing one of those a week. That video also goes on YouTube. And you don't do any other work other than upload it, take the blog, copy and paste it into the description, backlink it to the website. And then you've taken one piece of content and you've put it in all of these different places. And then you say, hey, you know what? The marketing gal, she's got some time. Let's have her start tweeting links. Like, all of these things are made possible by creating one piece of content. Okay.
Well, I
Google,
mean, as part of the flywheel, could you see you training us on SEO as part of a class?
I could train definitely on a class on SEO. As far as, and it's interesting. So Google AdWords, I'm not making any, for anybody that watches this in the future, I'm not making any promises. However, Google AdWords has been in the discussion when it comes to click campaigns. So our automated campaigns. And it just so happens that we have a team, Jacob is a genius when it comes to Google AdWords. And we're actually probably better at Google AdWords than we are at Facebook ads, believe it or not. Google AdWords is amazing. It is a lot of work and a lot of effort up front and less optimizing on the back, where Facebook is kind of flipped. It's less work up front, but it's a lot of optimization on the back. So to have that as part of your marketing strategy should definitely be part of your goals of the future, right? Whether or not it's something you do right now or not, all depends on the resources you have, because Google AdWords are awesome. I mean, the lead volume is not going to be as good, but the lead quality is better. The lead cost is more, but the lead conversion is better. So, I mean, these are people that have intent. They're searching. And as you've seen some of the websites that we do have available, even the nuanced distinction between our Facebook funnels and our Google websites are a little different. So everything is part of the flywheel. The big thing about the flywheel is consistency, pushing the wheel, and at the beginning is when the wheel is the hardest to push. That's why most people get in and give up. And by the way, if you think, well, I've been marketing for years, anytime you stop marketing, and I'm not saying for like a couple days or a week, anytime you stop marketing for a month, or you're switching agencies, or you're doing whatever it is you're doing, you say, we don't have the money, that flywheel stops. So now you got to start over again. And I know you don't think, I know most people don't think of it that way, but that is the truth. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I know. I really feel for my situation, which I want to go and everybody in Blueprint knows, the coaches know I want to be virtual by this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
SEO, Google AdWords. I believe your system of follow-up can be plugged into any of these things here. Once you get a lead, you have a follow-up system. I don't know if you helped me do the reactivation a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got 3 calls, 3 people got texts I'm talking to.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, and I understand what you're trying to do with the follow-up system and training us on scripting and follow-up scripting. I think it's huge. I think I'd rather put money that I have. Listen, the federal government has given me money, okay? I
Yeah,
need to
good.
put it somewhere where it's going to work and be consistent. I
Yeah.
don't want to depend on an agency or a Dana or whatever. I'm hungry. I'm
Good.
on these calls. I'm taking notes. I love neuropathy. I don't really want to do anything. At some point, like Dr. Abrams, this time next year, I won't even be doing chiropractic anymore. It will be neuropathy, but because now I'm understanding about virtual, and I can understand that you can. We've always been virtual. We only see people 3 visits in 90 days. The first 2 visit 1 visit 2, and 90 days later we do a exam. I'm on the phone with them every 2 weeks during the 90 days
Yeah.
as telemedicine. I need someone to help me move that along so I can reach my goals. I know what we have works. I know it just works. It reverses neuropathy. It works. I need to get the word out. I need help.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right things. The first thing is understanding your marketing, you know, because the second you start abdicating it is the second you start not understanding. I mean, that's the whole thing is most people are in the vending machine mode. They're like, hey, listen, marketing's a vending machine, you guys. I mean, you'll even hear like people that run Facebook ads and stuff like that. They're never talking about local advertising, never. And so you can't listen to anything they say because it's the difference between a podiatrist and a chiropractor. They're both doctors. They both, you know, work on tendons and bones and things like that, but they are not the same thing. And when you think about your advertising on a local level and becoming a local powerhouse, strategy and mindset and expectations are everything. So if you look at if you say, hey, my business is a vending machine, as soon as it breaks, you know, you are screwed. And you're left holding the bag of confusion. I'll tell you a quick story. I have a friend, a very good friend of mine, and he is a genius at SEO. And he's got a very high paying job and he does SEO and stuff on the side. And so 4 years ago, he decided to create a website. And he said, you know what, we're going to build this website and we're just going to do it as a hobby. And it started out the first year, they had by the end of the first year, they had 1,000 people a month coming to the blog. Second year, it was 10,000 people a month. Today, so this is 4 years later, it gets 80,000 people a month and it makes about $70,000 a month in side income.
Wow.
And by the way, none of it ever would have happened had he tried to monetize it by the end of the 12th month. Now, I'm not saying your local business is going to be different. You know, it's not going to take you 4 years to build an audience, but it is going to take you consistency, sticking to a plan, and not deviating. Okay, because it's not that something doesn't work; it's that we're not sniping. Okay, we're not putting $1 in the vending machine. We're pushing the flywheel, and some pushes are more powerful than others, but they don't all move the wheel the same. All right, so it's about saying, hey, my strategy is to use patient stream to follow up with people like a ninja, to reactivate and re-engage leads, to generate new patients. My Facebook strategy is to create content and to answer questions, answer people's questions, answer their questions, and don't expect anything in return. Okay. And if you do these things and you build that strategy and you're just consistent about it, you'll look back 12 months from now and you'll be like, man, I really am glad that we didn't stop, because today instead of getting 10 patients a month, we're getting 25. And then 24 months from now, you see how this goes? Like we just keep going down the road. As long as you're going to be in business 24 months from now, you should keep going, you know? So that's Jeff Bezos 101, you know? Dr. Ferrante, thank you so much. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming every week. Next week's going to be awesome. Hopefully I got an exciting announcement. That's what I'm really hoping, because I do love teaching about this. By the way, if there's anything you guys want to know about, any marketing strategy, any questions you have, shoot them over to me, sam@25thwest.com, or you can throw it through PatientStream too. Heather gets those to me. Jacob, Stephanie, they all get those to me. So see you guys.
Thank you.